this guy who wants to be FBI director doesn't understand the Constitution. That's a big problem. And let me explain why. Our First Amendment, very First Amendment, talks about freedom of speech. And guys like him don't understand what that means or don't care. Because the First Amendment to the Constitution says that a government entity cannot punish you for the words that come out of your mouth. They cannot come after you legally. They cannot punish you physically by imprisoning you. They cannot punish you financially with something like IRS, right? Because the Constitution guarantees you the right to feel how you feel, to support who you want to support, etc. Private entities, like businesses, like customers, like individuals, they can punish you for your speech. They can punish you by choosing not to associate with you, by choosing not to shop and buy your products, by writing about you back, right? By informing people about ideas you have that they find distasteful and advocating for the fact that they don't think that you should have any kind of ability to just skate by saying these things without some kind of at least awareness or buy-in from the public. All of this stuff, totally fine in the First Amendment, allowed by the Constitution, okay? And if you make a guy like this FBI director, a guy who has said that he's going to come after journalists, he's going to go after the people that he feels were a part of rigging the 2020 election. It wasn't rigged. It wasn't rigged. It was a free and fair election. So if you have a guy who is in charge of the law enforcement arm of our country, who says it's going to be his business to punish people who disagree or who have upheld the law, that is actual lawfare. Dictators say, for my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. And Trump wants to make people like Matt Gaetz and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel the law. People who are beholden to him, not the Constitution, because they obviously don't understand what that means, because they don't act in accordance with it. And if you want to know who's in the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs, Trump. Trump is in the flight logs. In 2017, Jeffrey Epstein was telling people he was scared of Trump. I have a TikTok on it. You can check it out. There's an investigative journalist that has over 100 hours of tape of Jeffrey Epstein talking about the long-term, decades-long friendship that he had with Trump that went far past the date that Trump told us. So now you have a liar and a PDF person versus a liar and an SA person. So you're talking about liar versus liar. So it's hard to know who's telling the truth, and perhaps both of them are lying at the same time. But I'm telling you, start there. Start with who we know is on the log. Jesus, the call is coming from inside the house, friend. Kash Patel is a part of the problem. And just to be 100% clear, because I am not a constitutional scholar, there is one and one exception only where you cannot use your speech and that a government is allowed to pursue you for speech. And that is if you have caused direct physical harm. For example, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater if you absolutely know there is no fire in order to stir panic and potentially cause a riot. That you cannot do. And so if the government can prove that you've done something like that with your speech and people have been hurt by it, they can pursue you. And that's why they came after Trump. The more